Hello and welcome to Markets at Lunch. With me, Aisha Faridi, as well as Siddharth Bhambre, joining in from our New Delhi News Centre. And straight across to our top story, Royal Enfield today launched two new motorcycles, the new Thunderbird 500X and Thunderbird 350X. Now, these are new variations of the existing Thunderbird series, but will come with a different design approach, which will be signified by the X suffix at the end of the motorcycle's name. Let's bring on board then Rudraraj Singh, President Royal Enfield. He joins us in the show right now. Rudraraj, Thunderbird has been a laggard compared to classic 350cc and 500cc segments, which I'm sure my co-anchor would know better about. But can this new launch, that Thunderbird X, really change the trend for you guys?
Definition of laggard is, but each brand has a role to play in the Royal Enfield franchise or in any master brand franchise, and Thunderbird has played that role almost definitively and singularly for the entire nation, and that role is for the last 15 years, or in fact more. I think it was launched in year 2000. It has unequivocally been the only definitive choice for highway cruising. And the unique thing about Thunderbird has been that highway cruising plus versatility in real road city conditions. Now these, you must understand, India is a commuter market, and there are people who want to be explorers, but they don't want to lose the commuter attribute. Therefore, when you say that the brand has not grown to its potential, you know Royal Enfield has. Each sub-brand has a role to play in it. In my view, Thunderbird has exceeded all expectations repeatedly over 15 to 18 years now of delivering what its role has been in the portfolio. What you see today, thank you for your comments on the Thunderbird X. What you see today is another dimension of that narrative. It's not, it's absolutely part of the core Thunderbird family. The narrative of that is a little bit more self-expression available at your store itself. What that means is a factory-built, custom-inspired, fully blackened theme motorcycle where the color trim graphics of the very vibrant colors of the seat, the tank, and other trims on the tire will all pop out. So there are a lot of people we are observing who love Royal Enfield, but want a little bit more self-expression, which they don't need to go out to customizers for. We are making this available for them, almost quite similar to what we did with the Himalayan. Himalayan was nothing but an amalgamation of the decades of people going into the Himalayas on Royal Enfield bullets, and we brought that into a package and made it available and accessible in our stores so that the consumers don't have to make an effort.
You know, the segment above 1.2 to 2.5 lakhs, a lot of new bikes are being launched in this particular price range. How is this space panning out for you?
Well, we don't segment like that. We look at our potential from a point of view of how many people believe in the brand and how many people are buying a product. And that's what we focus on. We really don't segment in that manner. We have our focus, or our segments if you like, is to remain authentic to our historical pedigree and legacy. And that's not just product pedigree, but also experiences. Whether it's our World War heritage, whether it's our role models heritage, Johnny Britain's and riding heritage and all of that, Himalayan heritage. We build our products and our experiences around our heritage and legacy, but also remain relevant for the future with what is important for the youth and the riders and the potential riders of today. Segmentation on capacity displacement or on other attributes are slightly mechanical, and while some parts of our teams obviously do that, because finally we are making a beautiful motorcycle, we try to make sure that the brand remains relevant in the segments that matter to them. And these are motivation segments, these are not product segments. Motivation is one segment we are working on is, for example, people who are trying to find themselves. These are slightly younger people who are just moving into working, getting a personal disposable income, and they have a need to stand out and self-express. There's another segment which is a slightly older segment, but we don't demarcate them on demographics, is a person who's probably lost himself, probably a guy like me, who's probably lost himself in the whole rat race of things, and they want to rediscover themselves and what they stand for. And we believe that pure motorcycling, which is what Royal Enfield stands for, the purity of riding pure, resonates with both these segment. So our definition of segment is slightly different to just product narratives.
Well, certainly most of us are lost in that rat race, Mr. Singh. Aisha, and certainly Thunderbird is not a laggard. It may not be as popular as, the classic Rangers, but certainly that bike has also been, selling like a hot cake. And Mr. Singh, couple of years back when I went to buy my TB500, the waiting period was 6 months, and now I see that it's around 3 months. Take us through the waiting period for bikes. Is there enough to tide over demand fluctuation?
Well, let me put it this way, our momentum continues, our demand curve still, despite all the capacity increase, still outstrips the supply curve. I will not provide you numbers, but I can tell you that we have a very strong order book that becomes stronger every day, and I'm very confident that the Thunderbird X will only accentuate that gap between the demand curve and the supply curve. We're not really, but that's not the way we discuss things in boardrooms at Royal Enfield or in meetings. We're basically focusing on, we still are a 7% brand in market share, right? So we have a lot of headroom to grow in India across our India market. The other thing I'd say is that we are very delighted to see that some of our other forays into international business, which is selectively growing some of the key strategic markets, are also seeing some green shoots, and I am very confident that in the next 10 to 15 years, because we are in no hurry to do something knee-jerk, we will be able to create the similar narratives of pure motorcycling and a portfolio that is extremely relevant and delightful in some of the other key markets internationally as well. So overall, our growth momentum continues, our order books remain strong, and our international foray has started showing green shoots.
Mr. Singh, Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland getting aggressive with price cuts in the CV space. How are you approaching the space?
I would talk only about Royal Enfield. I'd rather not discuss things which are EML linked, because I don't have too much of understanding of that part of the business.
Okay, Mr. Singh, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for speaking with us on what these new launches could mean for RE. But remember, RE is not the only one making a splash today. There's Harley Davidson, and it's off to the races with launch of 2 new motorcycle models in 2018, that Softail range, to celebrate their 115th anniversary. Now, the two bikes, that's Softail Deluxe and Softail Slim, are part of the Softail range, which saw 4 new additions last year. The new Softails come with an all-new chassis built from scratch for better performance and are priced as low as 12.99 lakhs for the lowrider and 17.99 lakhs for the deluxe model. So, Siddharth, what's it going to be? Are you upgrading to Harley now that they're priced cheaper?
See, it's not about just, price point. Certainly, that's a most important factor, definitely.
Yeah.
But, you also have to see the servicing network, how, it would be there. Because Enfield, if you now look at the network of servicing, you will find it at every nook and corner, in the sense, every 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers radius, you will see that. So, you need to see that factor as well. So, yes, it's a very attractive price point, and definitely, one would think about it, Aisha. But before understanding the network of servicing, I think it would be too early to jump into that.
You wouldn't jump in
yeah, exactly.
right away.
Yeah.
Okay.